If your experience with Portugal begins and ends in Lisbon or Porto, you've only seen a small part of the country. Northern Portugal offers something completely different. Medieval towns sit beneath granite fortresses, while mountain roads cross protected wilderness. The region is filled with centuries-old pilgrimage sites and vineyard terraces sculpted into steep valleys, where daily life still unfolds along stone streets laid out hundreds of years ago. Over the next 10 days, this journey explores castles, monasteries, scenic railways, hidden vantage points, winsome promenades, and some of the most striking landscapes anywhere in southern Europe. Let's get going! Our tour of northern Portugal commences in Guimarães, one of Portugal's best-preserved Middle Ages centers. This UNESCO site is known as the Cradle of the Nation and was Portugal's first capital. Set out for the Castle of Guimarães, constructed during the 10th century to defend the county from Moorish raids. Climb the ramparts and walk along the defensive towers overlooking the surrounding area. A short distance away is the Palace of the Dukes of Braganza, a 15th-century aristocratic residence. Inside, admire the large banquet halls, Flemish tapestries, and carved wooden ceilings, all connected to Portugal's royal history. The route then reaches Largo da Oliveira, one of the city's oldest gathering spaces, surrounded by medieval arcades and stone houses. Step inside the Gothic Church of Our Lady of Oliveira, one of the most important religious venues in Guimarães. Don't miss the Alberto Sampaio Museum, located inside a former cloister. It's filled with carved altarpieces, religious art, and ceremonial objects tied to northern Portugal's early Christian institutions. In the evening, take the cable car to the incredible Penha mountain. Known for its giant moss-covered boulders, you'll also be treated to a striking Art Deco shrine, the Penha Sanctuary. In the morning of day 2, visit the 16th-century convent of Santa Clara, which is now the town hall. The nuns were legendary for their baking, and the convent became known as the birthplace of some signature sweets, including tortas and queijadinhas de Guimarães. Next, go to the nearby Praça de Santiago and follow the network of twisting alleys and archways. You'll pass former merchant buildings preserved from the city's earliest period. From there, meander along Rua de Santa Maria, one of the oldest surviving streets in Portugal. Granite homes, iron balconies, arched entrances, and recessed courtyards line the avenue. After lunch, head to the Vila Flor Cultural Center, where an 18th-century Baroque palace meets a modern arts complex. Its terraced gardens feature statues, fountains, boxwood shrubs, and sweeping views of Guimarães. End your stay in Guimarães at Largo do Toural, with its fountains and inviting shops, where illuminated buildings bring the modern city center to life after dark. On day 3, make your way to Braga, a compact and walkable city about a half-hour north. Founded by the Romans in 16 BC, it's one of the earliest cities in Portugal, and was a major religious center for hundreds of years. Your exploration kicks off at Braga Cathedral, Portugal's oldest, founded in the 11th century. It features distinctive chapels such as the Capela da Glória, decorated with geometric Moorish-style paintings, and the Capela de São Geraldo, with its intricate altar and azulejo tiles. Don't miss the rare statue of the Nursing Virgin. From there, wander the surrounding old town streets leading toward Avenida da Liberdade. Enjoy the classic black and white mosaics that you see, and always stop to admire street art. In the afternoon, the highlight is the Garden of Santa Barbara, a formal garden set against the ruins of a 14th-century archbishop's palace. The garden is arranged with geometric flower beds and sculpted hedges that frame the surrounding Gothic architecture. Finish the day at Praça da República, the central town square where fountains, churches, and timeless facades blend with active pedestrian streets. Grab a coffee or browse the local shops. Your first destination on day 4 is Braga's Bom Jesus do Monte Sanctuary, a UNESCO site reached by one of the most iconic Baroque stairways in Portugal. The epic ascent rises in a zigzag pattern, passing 8 sculpted fountains symbolizing the human senses and theological virtues. At the top, check out the neoclassical basilica set high above the city. The gilded main altar features intricate woodwork and carvings reflecting the age of discovery. About 10 minutes away is the Samiro Sanctuary, an important pilgrimage site. Inside, its minimalist design encourages quiet meditation, highlighted by a white polished granite altar. Time permitting, return to the town center to see the Palacio de Rayo, with its stunning blue and white azulejo facade. This beautifully restored structure now houses a museum showcasing local history. On day 5, leave Braga and travel about an hour into Peneda-Gerês National Park, Portugal's only national park and one of the country's most rugged natural regions. Jagged peaks, dense woodland, impressive gorges, and isolated villages define the terrain throughout this area. Find your way to Campo do Gerês, and then head toward the Pedra Bela viewpoint, a wide overlook facing the Caniçada Reservoir and surrounding ridgelines. The elevated platform provides an expansive outlook across forested slopes and winding waterways that cut through the mountains. Keep going to the Cascada do Arado area, where a short trail leads to a waterfall flowing through steep rock formations into clear natural pools below. Wooden walkways follow the watercourse through sections of dense vegetation and exposed rock. In the afternoon, navigate sections of the Guerra Roman Road, an early route built to connect Braga with Roman settlements deeper in the Iberian Peninsula. Several original markers in cobbled sections remain visible along the mountainside. Finish the day in the village of Lindoso, known for its hilltop castle and rows of raised granaries called espigueiros, built to store grain and protect harvests from moisture and animals. On the morning of day 6, travel to Amarante, a charming town beside the Lamego River, known for its Baroque churches, stone bridges, tiled buildings, and walkable historic center. Start at the São Gonçalo Bridge, one of the city's instantly identifiable landmarks. The current structure dates largely from the 18th century and played a significant wartime role. Beside the bridge stands the church and monastery of São Gonçalo, a large religious complex with an elaborate Baroque facade, decorated interior, and cloisters connected to the town's patron saint. Take a peaceful stroll along the Riverwalk and its charming pastel houses. Or rent a bike to ride portions of the Ecopista da Linha do Tâmega, a picturesque cycling trail built on an old railway line. Before leaving, have a pastry at one of Amarante's inviting cafes. Local specialties include Tocinho do Céu, an almond cake, or Papos de Anjo, which translates to Angel's Double Chin. On day 7, travel about an hour into the Douro Valley, the world's first demarcated wine region. This UNESCO site is internationally celebrated as the birthplace of port wine. Your first destination is Paço da Régua, the historic center of the port wine trade and home to the Douro Museum, which explores the region's winemaking heritage. From Régua, follow the N222 road toward Pinhão. Considered one of the best drives in the world, the route is unmatched for continuous river views, vineyard estates, and steep agricultural tiers cut directly into the land. In Pinhão, stop at the railway station, decorated with blue and white azulejo tile panels, illustrating scenes from the grape harvest and river transport traditions of the Douro region. A popular excursion is a traditional wooden rabelo boat trip along the Douro. And don't miss the Casal de Loivos viewpoint, positioned high above the water with uninterrupted vistas across the vineyards and the winding Douro below. On day 8, we'll get to know the eastern sections of the Douro Valley, a rugged and dry subregion also known for ancient rock art. The first stop is the village of Provacenda, a hilltop settlement known for manor houses and narrow lanes surrounded by vineyard country. Visit one of the many wine estates in the area. In the afternoon, head towards São João da Pesqueira, Portugal's first municipality, dating to 1055. The surrounding countryside contains elevated lookouts facing vineyard-covered slopes, divided into geometric terraces that extend toward the river basin. You don't want to miss the spectacular São Salvador do Mundo sanctuary, located on a high ridge. A sequence of shrines and stairways leads toward dramatic platforms with sweeping outlooks across the Douro area. On day 9, travel west to Lamego, a city rich in architectural heritage. Its delightful center spreads across steep streets lined with churches, civic buildings, and traditional residences rising above the valley. be sure to see the sanctuary of Our Lady of Remedios. It's reached by an elaborate Baroque staircase decorated with azulejo tiles, sculpted fountains, and statues, and rises through a forested area toward the pilgrimage church. It's one of the most recognizable pilgrimage sites in northern Portugal. From the sanctuary, descend into the old town and spend time in the Lamego Cathedral, originally constructed during the 12th century. Gothic vaults, Renaissance chapels, and an intricately carved cloister reflect several periods of architectural expansion. End the evening at the Lamego Castle, where you'll see an exceptionally preserved Moorish vaulted cistern and an imposing keep tower. On our final day, we'll journey to Coimbra, a riverfront city shaped by one of the oldest universities in Europe. Built across steep terraces above the Mondego River, Coimbra combines streets from the Middle Ages, student culture, and majestic architecture within an accessible historic core. Get the day underway at the University of Coimbra, founded in the 13th century. Located inside the former royal palace, the complex includes ceremonial halls and arched courtyards. Be sure to see the Joanina Library, noted for gilded woodwork, painted ceilings, and shelves containing thousands of ancient books, famously protected by a resident colony of insect-eating bats. Afterward, view the breathtaking interior of the Chapel of São Miguel. In the afternoon, visit both of Coimbra's monasteries of Santa Clara. Start at the original 14th-century monastery of Santa Clara a Vela, a water-scarred Gothic complex abandoned after centuries of flooding from the Mondego River. It's been transformed into a striking archaeological museum. Then, continue to the relatively newer 17th-century monastery of Santa Clara a Nova, which is home to a grand Baroque church, the tomb of Queen Saint Isabel, and marvelous views over the city. Spend your final evening strolling along the waterfront promenades and pedestrian bridges spanning the Mondego, where lively cafes, music venues, and interesting streets abound. Or take in a Coimbra fado performance, distinct from a Lisbon show as it's always sung by men. Thanks for watching! After 10 days in northern Portugal, you leave with far more than photos of distinguished landmarks. You've crossed mountain passes, walked medieval lanes, followed ancient trade routes, explored peaceful sanctuaries, and watched vineyard terraces disappear into the horizon above the Douro River. Each stop revealed a completely different side of the region. For many travelers, this is the journey that changes how they think about Portugal entirely. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with others who prefer in-depth and realistic itineraries and manageable pacing. See you in another Travel Top 10 video where we'll spend 10 days in a different region of Europe.